Welcome to Gen Z Hoops, the Gen Z basketball, coaching, and sports business show. On this podcast, you'll learn from professional players, coaches, and executives from all over the world and see the court in a brand new way. And now, joining you courtside, your Gen Z host, John Harder-Phillips.
Coach Carp, what's going on?
Hey, man. How's it going, John? Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Doing great. Really excited to get you on the show. You're doing some awesome stuff right now in basketball in New York, in the Mecca of basketball. So really excited to kind of bring it all full circle. The Knicks are finally good right now, but also New York basketball is just really coming alive. And you're doing some really cool stuff too. So I'm really just excited to dive into all that, because whether it's the high school stuff, whether it's the stuff out of the line, you're just doing so much. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, we're pumped. Having the energy back at, the Mecca of Madison Square Garden. That's awesome. What we got going on with Mecca basketball and training, we got a lot of stuff happening for us, which is all good. And Knicks won a big one the other night, and it was fun to watch. It was up late, and Fournier, those guys, they took over and finished the job. So always good stuff.
Big time stuff. And I'm sure, right, everyone, when they first meet you, the first thing they start talking to you about is what you're doing now, right? Because all this stuff is so great. But I want to know about the backstory to all this. Please tell our listeners a little about maybe, who you are, maybe what got you so into basketball when you first grew up. Well, where did the passion kind of originate from as a kid, as you started growing up?
I was introduced to the game of basketball when I was young, like second grader, somewhere around there. And I just fell in love with it. It was something I had always had a passion for. Growing up, I found success playing. And I think, my parents were really supportive and giving me every opportunity to continue to my development as a player across the AAU scene, high school scene, and into college. And, it was just something now as a coach and trainer on the other side, I want to be able to supply that, my intelligence and what I've learned in terms of the game, to the younger generation. Do that not only as a role model, as a leader to them, but, we want to build a lot of character, Ed, and, get them better at their skills as well. So.
That's huge. It's a great overview. I'm curious, right? When talking about that transition to becoming Coach Carp, we'll get into the name maybe and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
All you were doing a little bit later. But where did that transition come for you when you're like, you know what? I really want to impact lives in this way, from the sidelines or in training or in all that stuff. Where did that switch maybe happen for you?
I've always wanted to be an educator. I remember in high school, I was thinking about different career paths for myself. And I always had, certain people around me that were great role models to me that I had as coaches. It was something that I saw for myself. So pursued a career in physical education. And when I graduated, I was fortunate enough to land a varsity coaching job, kind of like right out of the gate back at my alma mater, John Glenn High School in Long Island, New York. And my coaching career kind of began from there. So we coached at a high level, and right from the start, I've been doing it for over a decade in terms of coaching high school hoops, about 15 years total. Today, one of my first players from back in the day, one of my all-stars, perennial all-stars, is actually my partner in the company, Mecca Basketball. So basketball to me has always been about relationships and kind of building upon, a family of people. I have the honor of being able to, say I've been doing that and have been blessed to have that take place throughout my life.
I love that whole idea of relationship building, and right, thinking about all the way back to when you first started coaching, those relationships still being prevalent. What were those first few seasons like? I remember my first few seasons. It's not like it was that long ago. It was 2-3 years ago as a high school coach. When I really was getting my feet wet, and it was kind of scary those first few games. Like, what maybe of those seasons stuck out to you? The relationships stuck out to you that really coming back and telling you like, wow, I've come such a long way as a coach, or those seasons were really unforgettable.
Especially early when you're going from like the playing days into the coaching days, there's that. I've always been a fierce competitor. That has something that has always driven me. So I remember back in the day, just knowing how to manage that competitive nature and to get the most out of your players is just something I've always been wanting to really do. And I feel like I've been successful at that. So it's been great to just in terms of the journey, each chapter, each season that we've kind of gone through is a new chapter. I think of, each challenge and each team brings its own challenges to it. And I've had some really great players come through and really some great relationships that have been, everlasting.
Awesome. So the high school stuff is, of course, incredible. Thinking about that, what were maybe how did you maybe do some stuff maybe away from the high school game, maybe some whether it's training, whether it's away from the high school setting style, where did that come in for you?
When I started, teaching and coaching, I opened up a company with camps. So I was always doing like basketball camps. And then recently in 2019, I've always wanted to get more into like the training, but I've had this the coaching piece. It takes so much time, off my plate. But my partner Phil came to me and he wanted to open up a training company. He came to me and said, "Look, coach, I've had a long time relationship with you. I see that you're doing stuff on the side with camps. Like, what is your thought?" At the time, he didn't know that I had a lot of passion and interest in getting to the training piece of it. And we decided to launch Mecca Basketball. And one of the things that we had said to ourselves was, what we're going to name this thing that we want to do. And our dream in the beginning was, look, we want to create a place where players can come. We want to create like one of the best places that players can come to train, to enhance their skills, to get great coaching, and really take themselves to the next level of development. And, being in New York and thinking about, circling back to Madison Square Garden, thinking about like Madison Square Garden is like the Mecca of where everybody has always wanted to play basketball. We kind of wanted to recreate that in terms of a training company. So we gave ourselves the name Mecca, Mecca Basketball for a training company. And, we relaunched and we kind of never looked back.
What was the start of Mecca Basketball? Can you kind of walk us through maybe, I'm sure it's grown so much in the last few years, but when you first started it, what were some of those growing pains maybe like? What were some of those first like trial and everything you had to get through to make it what it is today?
Yeah, no, you just want to kind of be on the map and you kind of just got to say that, look, we know what we can provide, and just getting that message out there consistently, and then having players come through that are at all different levels, and, kind of working through different programs for different skill levels of players and different age levels of players was something that was important to us. And then just really just providing like the best and highest level of instruction that we can provide from the jump. And I think that when you do things the right way and you cross your T's and you dot your I's and your intentions and your heart is in the right place, it's easy for, it's easy for that to spread through word of mouth, because we're in a business and a company that, we give a service out based on our product. It kind of passes along, people spread the word. And I think that's been like kind of like the biggest thing that has, really helped us, is just been able to be genuine in who we are as people and our approach with our clients, and be able to help them the best we can. Good word has been spreading.
Super important thing about that. It ties into the relationship all that relationship building that you mentioned earlier. And I'm sure it's going to be a recurring theme throughout the rest of the show is talking about that. For those that can't see for those that are listening, maybe on audio, that can't see the awesome background behind you. I see the thing on the top left, right? The code. Can you tell us a little bit about that and maybe how that plays into what you're doing now with Mecca?
Oh yeah. The logo behind me is our Code Mecca logo. And that's our newest space. So we opened up in Northport, New York, which is in Suffolk County, and that's like been the home of us. But we just recently did an expansion into Nassau County, and this is our new facility that we're operating 24/7, and it's called Code Mecca. We're located in Garden City, New York, inside of Mitchell Gym. We have our own space in there. Code Mecca. We have some other people that are very close with us that are working with us as well. Brandon Williams, he came over with us, and along with Mike Friedman, who's been coaching with us and training with us since the beginning of time, he's with us as well over there. And Code Mecca, the code part comes from Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams runs this apparel company called the Cheat Code, and he's got fire gear. So if you got a chance to check out Cheat Code, check it out. I'm wearing his shorts all the time. It's like all the smoke, charged up shorts. It's really good stuff. But we wanted, we believe in family. So when we brought Brandon on, we wanted him to really feel a part of like this growth with us, because he's a big part of it as well. And we decided to name the space Code Mecca. So when we think about the word Code Mecca, we think about like, what's the cheat code? What's the secret to training and getting to the next stage of development or to the next level? And when you think about that, the message is really the Mecca. Get to the Mecca and you're going to get better. You're going to grow and succeed and get to where you need to go. So we named that place Code Mecca. So our little like tagline is always enter the code, get your game right.
So what are what's maybe your in terms of entering that code? I love that. That's such a cool thing. We're going to I'm sure it's going to be another thing, right? We keep on coming back to, but what are maybe what's your best way of going about that? What's maybe your style as a trainer or as a coach, right? I mean, we were talking a little before about Mastery Hoops, and you're going to go to that next year. I went to that this year and it was incredible. What I noticed from that was so eye-opening is that so many of these coaches had a huge, Drew Hanlon and Michael Lancaster are two very different people and approach the game very differently. How would you maybe describe the way you're showing players how to enter that code?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because we have such a strong group of trainers with us right now at Mecca Basketball, between Brandon, Mike, Phil, myself, along with the rest of our team, where I think that we all have our own style, but yet we morph into each other very well, at the same point. Thinking about the guys that have, done this at such an elite level, DJ, Tyler, Drew, all those guys, they're amazing, right? Like they're the guys that, they set the bar so high, and we're trying to climb that ladder and provide a very similar, concept that they provide as well. So with that being said, shout out to those guys. We really respect you and what you're doing, what you've done in, Jersey, Texas and beyond. And, we're trying to, do that same thing and provide that same level of development, elite skill training across Long Island. Brandon, Phil, Mike, myself, like I said, we're all a little bit different, but we do morph into each other. When kids come into the gym, our clients come into the gym, regardless of who's there, they know they're leaving with a tremendous workout and, divulge so much information and knowledge to them. We really feel that we can help them, continue to aspire and reach their goals.
It's the biggest thing, right? Is making sure that you get these kids are not just getting one style of training; they're getting all these different types from all these different coaches. That's how they're going to produce the best kind of players, because they're going to get a little bit of the best from each and every one of you, which is awesome. From that same breath, though, in terms of are there any? What's maybe the team aspects side of this thing? Like, are there anything you guys are looking to do with that, or that you're already doing with that? Or is it strictly training? How is maybe unfolded for you guys?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So Mecca Basketball has created this great affiliation with the Long Island Lightning. Now, the Long Island Lightning is the biggest AAU organization, one of the biggest AAU organizations in the country, headed by Jim Fox. And to have that affiliation with Lightning for us is tremendous. We have teams that, we oversee and we provide them with training as well. When they come to the Lightning and they join us in Suffolk County or more towards the North Shore of Long Island, they know they're going to be getting great coaches. They're going to be getting great training, and they're going to be getting a great experience. It's like an all-conclusive opportunity for these kids to get the full package, from the coaching, the practice, the games, the training, and then the tournaments and all that stuff. So they really have this affiliation between, when they join those Lightning teams, between Long Island Lightning, which has been there, done that, and this our training company as well. So it's really a good partnership. It's a good affiliation. Shout out to Jim Fox for giving us the opportunity and having the trust in us to be able to provide, what we're providing.
I'm kind of losing track of almost all this basketball all around. Like, this is so much stuff going on. Where would you say, in terms of like locations, to make it simple for our guests, where are most of these things operating out of, and what's the best way for them to get involved in some of this stuff, like in terms of the most simplest way?
Yeah, so the easiest way, we're really spread out now across Long Island. We've really grown over the last year. So we are prevalent in Suffolk County, in Northport, New York, towards like the Huntington, Northport area. And then we are really prevalent over towards in the Garden City area now, along also on the North Shore of Long Island in Nassau County, over by like 25A, and we have a lot of teams in that area. So, the North Shore, Nassau area, the Suffolk region, Garden City, Northport, that whole area into Long Island. So we're really across Long Island. We're across two counties. We would not be able to have done that if we didn't have the quality of people that are with us. And I think that it's so important that, we want to continue to, Phil and I always are looking at different things, and we want to continue to grow, but it's so important to do that the right way. Right? We don't want to grow out of our shoes. So we want to be growing with quality people that we trust, that we believe in, and that also trust and believe in us. And I think that's the big message. We are truly a family. I've coached high school basketball for a long time. And, usually I'm always thinking, like, when guys go do layup lines, they got like their team shirt on the back, they've got some type of message, whether that's unity or, family or something like that. And I can say that, like, if we were to be a team, on the back of our shirt, it would be family, because like that's what we are, that's what we believe in. And that's the message that we start and end our day with every single day at Mecca Basketball.
It's incredible, right, thinking about that. And this ties into the same thing we mentioned earlier about relationship building. But you mentioned, right, this whole idea of growth, and how you don't want to grow, can't be growing too fast out of your shoes. But what do maybe those next few steps look like then for you, in terms of how you would plan on growing this thing?
We've been growing, like I said, we have been growing, and we've been blessed to be able to do that. But at the same time, we just really focus in on what we're providing to our clients, right? And we want to make sure that they're getting the highest level of instruction each and every day that they come in. And a lot of times, like, players, they'll come in all different skill sets, right? So we'll have younger players, we'll have older players, and we'll have guys that are trying to make the team, we'll have guys that are trying to get to the next level in terms of college. And along with that, being able to give each player what they need, regardless of where they stand on the pecking order, I think is really important. And it just goes back to like quality control. Everything that we're about is quality control. We want to have a high standard. So when I mentioned before, like, let's say Drew and DJ and those guys, they set the bar really high in terms of like how to provide or what to provide, like in terms of elite skill training. We're trying to, we set the bar really high for ourselves in terms of delivering stuff like that to our clients every single day. And, I think that from our side, we stay super humble in terms of what we're doing and how we're doing it. We put a really good product out there. And I think that our players and the parents that have come across and have met us, I think they've been happy. So, and I think it speaks for itself.
One of the, and in terms of thinking about building that environment for kids to really get better, it's one of the phrases that's not on the graphic behind you, but it is one of the ones that's all over your website. I'm sure a big part of who you guys are is the players' place to train. What does that phrase mean to you guys?
That's kind of like our tagline for Mecca basketball in general. It's the players' place to train, because when we just feel that, like, and when we know the players have told us, like, they just love coming to where we are. We set a vibe and we have like a culture from the moment you enter the gym in terms of, the music we're playing, the relationships that we have. Like, kids aren't just coming to the gym and their name is not known. Like, we go beyond the court with them. So we want to know, like, what music they're listening to, how did they do in their game last night? Like, what's going on with them in terms of playing time? How's their family, right? Just literally touching upon different things that are important to kids. I know that I always hear Phil talking about and touching base with them on music and different things. And I think that when the players walk into the gym, and I think that they can relate to that. Because like, we all are walking into the gym and we all know that we were here to get better. But at the same time, like, we want them to feel like this is home for them. And we want them to feel like this is their place that they can come and have comfort. Because like, for a lot of players, like, I think sports in general is like a therapy for them. So it gets their mind right as much as it gets their body right. And to go to a place where you can literally be who you are and not have to worry about like outside things, like they don't have to worry about relationships that they have in school or homework or any of that other stuff, pressure from home. Like, they just literally have to come in and do something that they know that they love, have people around them that are going to support them, no matter what. I think it's important.
Super important, and having that environment is huge for players of all ages. One thing that stuck out to me was that you guys aren't just, everyone maybe when they think of AAU or when they think of like training, they think of only like, 16, 17-year-olds, think of the seniors, think of people dunking, but you guys are doing it with kids that are much younger than that, with 3 to 5-year-olds. You guys call them the starters, which I think is awesome. I think that's a cool, super cool name for that age group. How does that, obviously, right, working with kids of all age groups, what does that exact program maybe look like, and kids really getting their first exposure to the game, and you're a part of that? That's awesome.
Yeah, that actually, we were getting that program going right around COVID, and then COVID hit. We we have all this stuff that we're doing with Lightning. So we kind of shifted a little bit what we do with the starters, and we do a little bit more like little Lightning programs for players that are just entering. Son that's 5, going to be 6 years old in a few weeks. And, he's a big part of that, like little Lightning program, those starter programs where we're really teaching them the fundamentals of the game, introducing them to the game so they can now develop this passion and love for it as well. And it's been fun. It's been a journey. Another part of me is I'm a elementary phys ed teacher. So I work with kids in age group of, K through 5. And so we have that background as well. And people on our staff have a lot of education in their background. So we're really, regardless whether you're a teacher, coach, or trainer, like we're all about educating. And I think that's really important. And we try to show that we can, the diversity to train a wide range of players, regardless of their age or skill set. That's important to us, because no matter who walks through the door, we want them to, leave giving us a great review and wanting to come back and spread the message.
Incredible, right? Thinking about that and how really anyone can get involved and anyone can get better and really experience what it's like to be to play in the Mecca and play and do all that stuff. I'm trying to keep track of all the phrases and taglines. They're all so great. I'm kind of trying to figure out which one's best suited, and really they all kind of fit in, which is great. But you guys also know how to have fun and have these really cool events going on. One thing that stood out to me was the 1-on-1 tournament and the 2v2 challenge. Not a lot of programs do that, and I think that's super fun. Like, what does that night look like? That's got to be really high energy.
Yeah, no, we are all about energy. I think we're more about, energy givers and energy takers. And we want to give these guys like great environments for kids to get hype. Like, we want to create hype on things. So like, one of the things we have coming up right now in November 5th and November 6th is our 1v1 tournament for our high school players. And we have a whole set of rules where they come in, and we're going to be giving away some prizes for the winners and across 2 days. And it's right before the season starts. So it's getting hype around, this coming season for a lot of the varsity guys. And on Long Island, Island, sometimes you have kids in different counties that don't always get to play each other. And then you have, within each county, you have leagues that not every kid gets to play each other, or guard each other. So they see each other on the AU circuit, they see each other in leagues, things like that. So we were like, there's always some type of, social media talk back and forth. So why not just kind of feed into that? And, we did some stuff where we asked guys who the best players were, who the best one-on-one scores are, who's the bucket, and let's get these guys into the gym and, basically back it up. So if you're out there and you think you can back it up, get into Code Mecca with us on November 5th. It's an easy entry fee, is like $20, and you have a chance to win sneakers and things like that. So we're all about giving back to the kids and giving to the community. Yeah, no, it's cool.
So cool. Yeah, it's got to be a lot of fun and definitely a high energy event. If I was in high school, I'd be pulling up to that too. That would definitely get me going.
Exactly.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's got to be really cool. I mean, you mentioned some of the rules. I noticed one of them, a basket behind arc worth 2 points. Like, what are some of those fun rules maybe you guys have in that 1v1 tournament?
No, it was so it's like the shot clock. Like they have a shot clock. It's like, so kids can't hold the ball too long or over dribble. So we have a shot clock that ticks down, and they have to kind of get their shot off in a certain amount of time. And the way Code Mecca is set up, there's different baskets with different angles around the court, so they can go to different ones, take their player on from the left wing or the right wing, top of the key, things like that. So, and then right now we're playing it with, just like in a game, like if I score, the defense gets the ball. So it's going to put a little bit of pressure on having to play D instead of just like, the offensive skill set of 1v1, because a lot of times in games, in crunch time, guys want the ball, but also, you sometimes need to stop, right? You need to stop. So we see that the other night in terms of the NBA and things like that, but it comes down to the high school level too. So we want guys to be the complete player one-on-one, not only get a bucket, but be able to stop one.
That's a very underrated aspect of one-on-one that obviously you guys are teaching and making sure there's an emphasis in that. I mean, the biggest thing we've mentioned this entire time is this idea of player development. That's been right. There's been a lot of phrases. There've been a lot of different talks about how it happens, but the overarching theme is that guys are getting better, right? Guys are improving. Who are some of the alumni of Mecca that have gone on to play at a high level or that have really found success? Maybe not even on the basketball court, but maybe in the basketball world outside of the game.
Yeah, no, we have some guys that are right now playing overseas for us. Petrastic, one of our guys that was one of coaching with us, does some training with us, Jordan Strawberry. We got a couple of guys, Anthony LHA, a couple of guys like that have come through that have, trained with us, that have gone on to an elite level. And then we've got like some high school guys too that, they went on to go play D3 basketball, D2 basketball, different levels of basketball. And, a lot of times when they come to us, they are not only seeking development, but they're also seeking connections. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we do at Mecca is put them in line with college coaches and help with them with the recruiting process. A lot of, the coach Carp and me having to consistently always like having these relationships over time that I have built with college coaches. When I have guys and clients come in, I want to use those for those guys. So it's not just they come in and get like, let's say, an hour training session and leave. There's constant like texts, calls throughout the summer. Like we had one of our guys get hurt this past summer. He had signed to school and he got hurt. He's going away to be a freshman. He hurt his back, and just being in contact with them because he wasn't in the gym as much. Just make sure like his head is right. So then like they have the first day of college troop starts up. Just texting the guys that we know, hey, how's it going? How's the season starting? How's life in college? Just making sure that everybody's knows that they have that level of support. No, they may not be in the gym with us doing that training at that time. So a lot of guys we like to give love to and support throughout the year.
Love that. I saw a couple of them are in the G League. Maybe some of them are next up. Who knows, right? With the way.
Yeah, exactly.
But the biggest thing, right? That's of course fun to talk about in terms of where guys are. But the fact that you guys are still a family and keeping in touch with them, right? Guys are getting hurt. Guys are maybe going through things, and you're there to support them, and not even though after they're already out of the program, which kind of ties into that whole family aspect, which I think is incredible. So looking at all of this, it's just incredible seeing the family Mecca has built over the last few years, and what's going to continue to happen. I can't wait to see it firsthand in the coming weeks when I'm over there up in Eden's Neck, that Northport area, and I'll be stopping by to see what's going on there. But really appreciate having you on to tell this whole story and talk to us so much about all these great things you're doing, all these innovative, different, whether it's the classes, whether it's the training, whether it's the kids that are coming through and the experience that they're getting. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Coach.
No, I really appreciate you having us. When you get into Northport, you have to text me. I'm taking you out to Robke's, which is the best Italian food in Long Island, in my opinion, on me. So definitely appreciate you giving us the platform. For those people out there, check out Mecca Basketball, and we look forward to having you guys come in the gym and start working with us. All right. Thank you, John.
I'll be getting your socks then too. So so get ready.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Sounds good, John.
Thanks for listening to Gen Z Hoops. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all major social media platforms at Gen Z Hoops. You can tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and every other podcast platform on the planet. Get ready for the next episode.